Sean is a fresher breath of air. He just loved chain restaurants. Matter of fact, he ate at Applebee's 12 times during the bye week.
I love each and most of you guys.
That really is still swollen, isn't it? It kind of looks like a football, actually.
Thank you for that.
The stitching, you got it.
Thank you.
Well,
Hey, D, I like donuts, baby. Let's go.
Stay focused. Work hard in school. You might not like school, but make sure you're working hard at school.
Them bills are bomb. Them bills are bomb.
It's your boy DM3, and you're listening to the Witty Not Funny Sports Podcast on the Built in Buffalo Podcast Network.
Witty Nation, welcome to Witty Not Funny Sports Live, presented by Traveling Growler, the #1 self-rated Buffalo sports show covering the Bills, Sabres, entertainment, and everything in between. And as always, what's up, brother?
Number one self-rated podcast, Matt.
#1 self-rated until we go
the #1
global.
Because
we don't have to self-rate
for the world's greatest self-rated podcast.
Yes, that's
world's
right.
Greatest supersedes is better than #1, as we learned from Izzy Mandelbaum.
Yeah, of course, Mandelbaum. And of course, we are on the Built in Buffalo Podcast Network. Hopefully you followed all the great shows this week on Built in Buffalo, including the live draft coverage. Great job by the Built in Buffalo crew there. If you haven't yet, go follow us on Twitter at WittySports716. Yes, we can still call it Twitter, just like we still call it the Ralph. And make sure you check out everything Built in Buffalo is giving you every single day at Built in Buffalo _. And if you haven't yet, please take 2 seconds, hit that like, hit that follow. Make sure you comment. We love comments. Show some love to the show. Please, just one little click on that mouse. Hit that like button. Also, make sure you check out the Witty Not Funny store. The Witty Not Funny store at Teespring. You can either Google search Teespring Witty Not Funny or go to teespring.com/witty-not-funny. Check out all the designs in the store. Support the podcast today. Tees, crews, hoodies, we got it all colors, all sizes. We'll be adding to it with this rookie class, which is very t-shirtable, I should say. We got the characters. It is Saturday. These are our kind of instant reactions to the draft. We've had a couple days now to really get our thoughts together on the first couple picks. We have some instant reactions to these day 3 picks and these late picks, but this is our sort of kind of instant reaction show. Not a lot, of course, research and whatever, but we're just going off of what we see from the first day or two here of these guys. Let's just start from the top, Tony. First of all, how you doing? I think that's from the top. We need to start with that. That's the most important thing here.
Do you mean like literally you're asking about my health because I was absent?
Yeah, because you've been sick for the
okay.
past week and a half.
You might hear me cough every once in a while. But I'm mostly better. The draft being this weekend has been a godsend. In the sense that I'd be like resting anyway, or it gives me the opportunity / excuse to rest, to be restful, to recover from the flu. So you might hear me cough a little bit. I have some of the residual like mucus phlegm in my esophagus, but
you're good.
Mainly I'm capable.
Well, you sound great. You sound
thanks.
So much better. Sound like $1 million. But let's start from the top of the draft now. Thursday night, eagerly anticipating what the Bills would do with that 28th pick. And what do, Tony? Do they take the best receiver on the board? No. Do they take the best player? No. They trade it to the rival Kansas City Chiefs. The Bills traded picks 28, 133, 248 for 32, 95, and 221. Tony, I will give you my instant reaction when the Bills traded to the Chiefs. It was this.
Yes.
Bad.
Why
would you trade with the team you cannot beat?
Oh, well, that wasn't my reaction at all. My reaction was completely like, I felt that it was the greatest injustice. I was ready to, I called the ACLU, and the American Civil Liberties Union was like, sometimes you got to stay up later than you think Tony. Like this is not what we do.
24-hour service.
Right, exactly. But I still contend that it was what I thought in that moment the greatest injustice in the history of the United States. But
I was shocked. Absolutely shocked.
Well, it didn't move the needle for me. I'm like, I am shocked that people are uppity that we traded with the Chiefs. I don't care about that at all. Like they were
really
like that's who's in range. Yeah, I don't care about that at all. And like we're not going to take the same people. We certainly weren't going to take Worthy, especially when they traded up to take Xavier Worthy. I'm like, oh, good, because I don't think he's anything special anyway. So
see, I kind of fell in love with Xavier Worthy. Speed, route running. I thought he could have been a great fit, and that's of course who the Chiefs ended up picking at 28, who I thought the Bills were actually going to pick. My whole beef with it is you trade to a team that you literally cannot beat, so you're not even playing defense at this point. You're giving the Chiefs
you're letting them help us.
We're letting us help them. To me,
that's not my take. They helped us. We won.
They helped us.
That's my opinion.
We'll talk about it when we talk about who we actually did end up picking here. I really liked Xavier Worthy. I think he's just going to be a weapon, and I hope he's not. And the thing is, like, A, you trade him to the Chiefs, and the Chiefs are the rival. B, now just like Patrick Mahomes will always be the Bills. That is always be tied to the success of that pick if he has success, which you think he's going to because it's the Chiefs and they always have success and they can make guys who are good great and guys who are average good because they have Patrick Mahomes as their quarterback. So we'll always be tied to that. And then C, my biggest gripe with that is just like I feel in free agency. I said this with Drew Tranquil last year when he signed with the Chiefs, is like, if they're good enough for the Chiefs, the player is good enough for the Chiefs, the Super Bowl winning Chiefs, the dynasty making Chiefs, why aren't they good enough for us? It doesn't make any sense to me. If Xavier Worthy can fit in that offense and they think he can be a weapon in that offense, he should be thought of as a weapon for us as well.
This is what you're asking me right now. We're two separate teams.
Yeah, they're a much better team.
Ryan Leaf could have been great.
All right, we're two separate teams.
Ryan Leaf could have been great, and Xavier Worthy might be good on some teams and terrible on other teams. And you know what team he would be terrible on? The Kansas City Chiefs. So I'm not worried about it at all. You know what my instant reaction as soon as I saw that they traded up for Xavier Worthy? I said, this is Sky Moore all over again.
Oh, I think he's much better than Sky Moore. I hope he's not.
Late first round, little speedy guy. Then they don't really.
Feels like they got Tyreek Hill.
No,
just feels like they've been trying.
They've been trying this. They try with Sky Moore. They try with what's his face, Kadarius Toney. It always goes nowhere. Not where with these like fast little gadget guys, because maybe they think it's Tyreek Hill. Okay, maybe that's what you think. It's failure after failure after failure. I'm not worried about Worthy. He's a one-trick pony, and he's gonna some Western pun right out of town. Not worried about that. And we wouldn't have taken. It's not like we would have taken Xavier Worthy. Xavier Worthy was not like next on our draft board or something, and we said, oh, we can sacrifice this. That's not what it was. So I don't care. Thanks for helping us out. We got a third-round pick out of the deal.
Yeah.
And it ultimately made Friday a more balanced evening, which we needed after the psychological torment of Thursday night.
Staying up all night, sleep deprived, just for them to trade down to 32. And we thought they'd pick, they're picking at 32. No, they trade out of the first round completely. And with the Panthers, and they get 32 and 200 to the Panthers for 33 and 141. So again, moving up draft capital, which is fine. If you had three guys on your board as to who you'd pick at 32, two of those guys you're going to get at 33. So I wasn't okay with that. The Panthers, of course, then take Xavier Legette. What is it with? Is it Beane has an anti-Xavier problem?
I think that this all goes back to this all goes back to Musk. Soon as Twitter became X, it took all the X's out of it. But Matt, we're not an X's and O show. We're a vibe show.
We're not an X's and O show. We're
and
not
the vibe on this, and the vibe on this was this then became the greatest injustice we have ever seen. To have stayed up all late, it's literally our nightmare. Did you
recalled the ACLU?
Yeah, I recalled the ACLU.
They said stop calling us.
Yes. I said you need to get after Brandon Beane right now.
He is off his rocker. Now. Someone needs to help him.
He is taking an entire community, a worldwide community, and throwing them right on the train tracks, and the train is coming. This is egregiously terrible. Now, can I ask you this question, Matt? Did you wake up your wife to complain?
I think I woke her up by yelling. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. Well, in yes, either accidentally or
I was
really.
I was like, what the fuck are we doing?
Right. And I was saying that purely, I was saying those sentiments purely selfishly. Like purely like I am now victimizing this. Like this is, how could you do this to me? How could you do this to my sleep cycle when I am sick on a school night? Come on.
It's all about you, Tony. It's all about you.
Yes, exactly. So I think that's the crux of where the majority of Bills Mafia and the majority of our listeners were probably coming from, whether they wanted to admit it to themselves or not. So I think it's of course, going into bed, my wife got an earful about how awful this was. Amidst texts from family and friends saying things like, "This is the worst night of my life. How could it be so terrible? Nothing could be as bad as going from pick 28 to 32 to nothing."
Nothing at all. Zilch, zero, nothing.
It was kind of fun being on the clock for like 24 hours.
I was just up at 1 a.m. just like scrolling Twitter.
Yeah.
Like, this is the worst. Why am I doing this to myself? It is torture. Thursday night was not a high point of Bills fandom for sure. No. It was brutal. Again, it's like, I said it last week when we did our best name show and I had to run solo. I said it. I don't think Brandon Beane gives a lot of first round grades out. And it was clear as day that is true by him trading down not only once, but twice out of the first round completely. Like, I don't know if it was a salary cap thing because the $4 million difference between pick 32 and pick 33 is helpful, I guess, in salary cap terms. I don't know if it's a player thing and it's just that wasn't the guy he or Joe Brady or Bobby Babich wanted. If it ended up being a defensive player, it was mind blowing. It was quite a roller coaster, especially when Brian Thomas started to fall out of the 20s. You're welcome, everyone. We almost did it. All our slander of Brian Thomas on Twitter throughout the week almost paid off because his draft stock was like mid-teens. And then it dropped down into the low 20s. And I'm like, we're doing our job. So all the Brian Thomas slander about how he doesn't know all the words for Sir Mix-a-Lot's baby got back, even though he claims he does, worked out. And I thought we were going to jump up and get big red flag for a lot of people. Every high school dance I went to, Sir Mix-a-Lot got played. You can't go into those high school dances without knowing the words.
I guess you're right.
You'll be in the corner. You'll be in the corner alone. You got to know "Baby Got Back" the words, not just the first line.
Matt, how did your high school?
I thought we were going to jump
work?
Up and get them. How do high school dances work?
How did your high school dances work? Were you like matched with a girls' school?
At an all boys school, yeah. Well, sort of. It was just like anyone could really go.
Oh, okay.
But it was like geographically the closest girls' school in proximity, which happened to be down the street from me. So.
Oh, okay. And so from there, then it's like, guys, the girls are coming to the school. We got to make sure we're tight on Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Yes. Let's practice before we walk in.
Yeah. Come to my house. We'll get the harmonies down in the garage. Make sure we're lyrically sound. Then we'll
like big butts and I cannot lie.
Right.
The brothers can't deny. Yep. It's all formulaic game planning. Yeah.
That's all it takes.
It's like Brandon Beane game planning this, maneuvering this draft.
He was wheeling and dealing.
He was the Sir Mix-a-Lot of this draft.
He was mixing the board.
Wheeling. He was mixing the board up real good.
He was mixing the draft board.
And based on who he picks, I don't know. He was mixing a lot for sure. So you were okay with the trade downs. I was not happy with the trade downs. I guess if Worthy and Leggett didn't get picked, I would have been more okay with it, because then it's like, okay, well, we have our pick of the litter in terms of receiver. If that's who we're ultimately going to go with, and that's who we kind of figured throughout this draft process, the Bills were going to take a receiver the first round. That was the consensus. That was the majority thought. So anyway, they trade out of the first round. I'm mad. I'm looking up who's left, best available. That's always the transition from round 1 to round 2. Like, who's left? Who's the best available? One of A.D. Mitchell, Ladd McConkey, Keon Coleman were still left. And out of those three, the guy I didn't want was Keon Coleman. All I read about, and that's who the Bills picked, of course, at pick 33. Wide receiver from Florida State. You know all the background now. The pick was made, and I was livid. I did this again. Just sulked into darkness, into my Bills fandom. All I read about leading up to the best available guys, looking at these guys up between rounds 1 and round 2. Keon Coleman, he's Gabe Davis. He's younger Gabe Davis. That's all I read. He can't separate. He has a limited route tree. He might need glasses. He loves Florida. He's Gabe Davis to a T. If you looked at his reception perception, which is a popular website, his charts, a lot of red and yellows on the different routes he runs. Not great. The one thing he does very well, contested catches. So Tony, take me through your thought process when the Keon Coleman pick is made at pick 33.
I was going in, I had convinced myself throughout the day that we were not going to take a receiver, and which would have been in many ways like, not worst case scenario, but like a shock to many and a shock to myself, because Beane historically takes the biggest need. And I don't know, like I was just like, it doesn't make sense to take a receiver, especially knowing it's like, well, the two Xaviers were not it. So clearly, so it's like, maybe we're just like, where we see the value on receivers right now is not it. So that's why we're trading down. I was convinced. I fully expected DeJean to be the pick. And I would have been like,
went very well with Josh Allen.
Yeah, I would have been like, well, I'm still ill at ease because we don't have a receiver, but like this is probably a smart pick and makes a lot of sense. So then when he said Keon Coleman, I was like you. I was like, this is not what I expected, because all the signs seemed to indicate to me that we would have had him valued much lower than pick 33. So us taking Keon Coleman was quite a surprise to me. And in many ways it still is, because like you said, with the route tree, I don't know if I put a lot of value into that, because I know that like those route trees are based on success, and there's a lot of factors into success, like the quarterback play and stuff. So I'm kind of like meh with that, as long as he runs decent enough routes, Brady will figure it out for him. And even if he doesn't, Josh will still throw to him, and apparently he'll still be expected to catch it, we think. But I am cautiously optimistic about Keon Coleman. What I'm trying to tell myself is another comparison that he gets is like Anquan Boldin. So what I'm trying to convince myself, I'm like, well, this is clearly we're just going to make fools of the rest of the league, and he's going to be Anquan Boldin, and everything's going to be fine. He's going to explode on the scene.
How is he going to be Anquan Boldin Bills, though? Which lasted 2 weeks?
For 5 days? Well, that's kind of...
And then in 20 years, his son's going to play for UB basketball?
Right. That's kind of why it all makes perfect sense to me. Although, we've been seeing today, it seems as though throughout today, Keon Coleman has been endearing himself to be America's sweetheart. So,
Yes.
nowhere to go but from there. So that aspect of it is winning me over a little bit. Can I say that the Keon Coleman pick proves what we've long speculated to the point where we've accepted it as fact long ago? Brandon Beane listens to this podcast because because last recording we said, or maybe it wasn't even last recording, but what was identified as the Bills' greatest need going into the draft? We got to get goofier.
We got to get goofier.
We got to get goofier. We lost all the goof. We lost Trey. We lost.
You're goofless.
Hyde. Yeah, we're way lower in the goof factor. We got to get whoever we draft needs to be goofy. Needs to be a dream for the social media team. Needs to be ready to take over a goalie academy, metaphorically.
Yeah.
It seems like that's exactly what we have on our hands here. Seems like he's checking all those boxes.
Yeah.
So in that
as we learned in his first press conference today,
right,
the man is quite a character.
He is, and so it's and so I would say that if we don't like the pick, we have no one to blame but ourselves in our own ignorance, because we didn't know who Keon Coleman was as a human being, and now this is the situation that we're in. Now the goof is there.
Let's talk about the character, because that's why we're here. We're as you stated, we're not an X's and O's podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We're vibes. We're character. Initial press conference, electric. Absolutely electric.
Before the press conference even started.
Before the press conference even started. Where do you want to start? I mean, we could talk about his fashion. We could talk about his diet. We could talk about just how he's the personification of a 6-year-old in a 20-year-old's body.
Right.
What I mean, is this like a Mike situation where he got like a pair of football cleats from, I don't know, Anquan Bolden, and he magically transformed into a football player,
into a 6'4" player,
transformed
and now
into
he's
a
like
big player. But yeah, is this like
can do insane things?
Yeah, exactly. But he's actually just like a 6-year-old kid, and when he takes the sneakers off, he transforms back into that 6-year-old kid. Possibly,
I think he's not. I think he's a 58-year-old kid.
Benjamin Button.
Because there's still a humility to it. There's still a humility to like, oh no cookies for me. So like, what do you think about his cookies? Yeah. Like the initial denial on the cookies, and then asking like, so that cookie offer still on the table? Like, what are we looking at here?
Right. So grab those cookies.
And then, or
that's
to
what
be
a kid would do though. If you sat at a dinner table and like, you can't have a cookie till you eat your dinner, and then the kid doesn't eat all their dinner, so they subsequently cannot get a cookie. 10 minutes later they're like, so what about those cookies? Can I still get one?
No.
Keon Coleman.
No, because the kid would not say, no, I don't want a cookie initially. No kid is going to deny a cookie before dinner. Keon Coleman denied the cookie before dinner and then changed his mind by the end. It was like, you know what? I think I've earned myself a cookie. I'm going to see if I can double down on this cookie. Great press conference. Yeah. Another factor of him being 58 years old is to describe the jacket as a nice little deal. That's boomer term. Like, come on. Like that.
That's old man terminology.
That's a nice little deal.
It's a nice little deal.
I'm walking into Value Home Center and whatever is in the kiosk at the door. Oh, mousetraps, $1 each. That's a nice little deal. Or $79.89.
If he says the phrase "sweet thing," I guarantee that's a 58-year-old man. Yep.
So thing like to Matty Glab, you mean? I don't think he's that out of touch.
No, maybe. I don't know. He's a character, as we stated. Let's talk about the cookies. Let's talk about the diet, because I tweeted.
Good. Yes.
If you haven't followed yet, make sure you go follow. And if you haven't hit like on this show, make sure you hit that like, please. Show some support. So show some love for the show, and make sure you comment too, and what your thoughts about Keon Coleman and all these draft picks are. I tweeted before the draft pick was made between those round 1 and round 2 lull we had, that a video came out of Keon Coleman talking about his McDonald's orders and his Waffle House orders. The man's diet is insane. He might We talked about A.D. Mitchell's diabetes being a factor. I don't even know what Keon Coleman has all the diabetes, if that's what he eats. So let's go through his McDonald's order.
Okay.
First, 2 hot and spicy chicken sandwiches with cheese, extra mayo. Already Will Levis's dream. I'm surprised he didn't get drafted by the Titans. Extra mayo, medium fries, an Oreo McFlurry, and a 10-piece chicken nugget. Then his Waffle House order, if he goes to Waffle House, sausage, egg, and cheese grit bowl, 4 eggs scrambled with cheese, side of pork chops. I didn't know pork chops were a side until Keon Coleman stated they were a side dish. That
and
seems
he
like
said you got it. Well, he said they're not on the menu. He said you just have to know that they're offered.
Oh, he
at
knows.
Waffle House.
He knows.
It's off menu. He knows.
Hash browns with cheese and a high C. Awesome, best drink ever. Not an orange juice, not a coffee, not a anything. High C. Maybe an Ecto Cooler. High C. That would be great if he likes those. But the man's diet with the cookies on top is out of this world. He must burn 9,000 calories a day with that kind of appetite.
It is.
Tony, I would assume as a person who strenuously watches how the players stretch during training camp, has very poignant thoughts about carousel cookies at training camp. This is concerning to you, this diet of Keon Coleman's.
Highly concerning. Not even aside from all that, but even as you know, like I was very critical when Josh chugged the beer on there, and I'm like, this man is a professional athlete. This man's body is, the community is relying on this man's body. You want to take some pride in your work. You want to keep that thing in peak physical condition at all times, not putting who knows what poison into this body. And so in that way, like I'm like, man, I wish he was just like following TB12 and keeping himself there forever. So Keon Coleman, how serious is he about his career if this is what he's doing to his body? I mean, I understand that he's a young man and his body can endure these sorts of things, but I don't know. It's worthwhile to invest early and then make it last later. I can't believe
the organic ketchup coach drafted this guy.
That's what I'm saying. That's what's so shocking about it. So this is the first time I'm saying I'm glad we don't have Waffle House up here.
So now I'm glad we don't have Waffle House either. Now I'm concerned that once he gets in the building, gets on McDermott's diet, his body isn't going to know how to react. It'll change his whole like metabolism, internal functionality.
His colon is just going to be rebelling at the cleanliness of the food.
Did you ever see the video of that marathoner who like collapses at the end as he crosses the That's going to be Keon Coleman. He's going to run a fly route and just start like collapsing like he has
First day of training camp. Can't wait to see it.
I'm so worried. I'm so worried about this man's diet. I think we all should be at this point. I love the Macy's coat. I love I love the frugality, being a fellow frugalist himself. Me, I love the fruit. Yeah, we're coining that word. I love the Macy's deal. You didn't get it from a booster at Michigan State or Florida State. He got it. He went out, got a sweet deal during the summer on a winter coat. That's when you get the best deals. So the man knows how to handle his money. I'm not really concerned about a financial burden, a situation, who knows, a gambling issue, maybe. Well, we don't know. He seems to be good with his money. He seems to know when a good deal is worth striking on. I like that about him. And as I said, the man feels just like a 6-year-old. Like he's playing Madden, throwing to himself. Like he's in the stadium on the field, like catching touchdowns. Like he's like, look at me, Mom, I'm in the NFL. Like he's a 6-year-old, and it's gonna go great. The goofiness factor just shot through the roof, and it's gonna go great with Josh's old man goofiness spirit animal.
Agreed. It's a match. It's a good match personality wise. And can I, like it occurred to me as I'm watching the intro of this very episode, shades of Marshawn.
Oh, very much shades of Marshawn.
Very much shades of Marshawn. Yeah. in terms of
Did we
just
see
like
Keon Coleman at Applebee's?
that's kind of what I'm hoping for with Marshawn. I hope Marshawn like brings him to Applebee's. That's what.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be a great like a sequel video.
Yes.
That would be great.
Marshawn's like, this is Buffalo's hottest spot, Applebee's.
Right. Get on
They
board.
let you get behind the bar. They let you do the
Yeah.
drink gun.
Yeah. That'd be
2
a lot
for
of fun.
25. Best.
But that's what it
best
feels
deal
like.
in the
It feels
restaurant.
like it's the second coming of Marshawn.
That's a good call. I like that.
Mhm.
It does feel
Yeah.
very Marshawn-esque. So I don't even know where to land now. I hate the pick from a football perspective. I
Mhm.
love the pick from a character goofiness perspective. I guess I can only be optimistic Bills fan in me and just hope the man is so goofy that it has to translate to being a good NFL player eventually.
Mm-hmm. That's where I'm at too. But I am still, and maybe you are too, I'm still like, is he enough? Is he enough right now? Is he enough right now to do that? Like there's reasons for optimism, but I'm also like, there's still like a development factor, it seems like here, like barring a miracle. Yeah. So I'm still very much like, kind of hope we also get another wide receiver still. But there's a conflict in that because I'm also like, well, yeah, but I don't want him to get pushed down the depth chart. Like, I don't want him to be nothing. Like, I still want some fun in this, but I also want probably another wide receiver.
Right. I want to see that room filled a little bit more with a veteran.
Yeah.
I've always wanted a trade for Courtland Sutton. I thought that's what they were doing by kind of stockpiling picks here later in these later rounds, sending a fourth to Denver for Courtland Sutton, and then just making the money work on the back end somehow. That would be, I never thought Ayuk or Deebo Samuel. There's a lot of talk between rounds 1 and 2 about those guys being available. I never thought that was going to be the case. I will say one final thing about Keon Coleman, and it's a reason I'm upset as well, is I thought, or was hoping for, I should say, Joe Brady's offense moving to just fast, twitchy guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like just Khalil Shakir, Curtis Samuel, Lad McConkey, if he was the Bills pick, like just these guys who can line up anywhere. They're always in motion. They're just confusing defenses left and right. Keon Coleman kind of doesn't fit the bill for me. Like I said, he ran one of the slower 40 times, 4.6 something, 4.61, I believe, at the combine. Improved on his pro day, but still you worry about that. Just kind of straight line speed was good in the splits. I think the 10-yard split he was the best in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just worried it's not what I was hoping for in terms of a progressive, forward-thinking offense that Joe Brady could be running. So he seems more of just like a 15-yard back shoulder, go up and get it, win the ball. He does seem to have better hands than Gabe Davis. I compared him to Gabe Davis earlier, which is what I heard a lot of going into the pick and then after the pick. He does seem to have better hands. He only had like 2 drops his whole college career. So when I say Gabe Davis needs glasses, it's because he drops the ball a lot. Keon Coleman maybe doesn't need glasses. I also like the fact that he has a basketball background, which reminds me a lot of Stevie Johnson, one of my favorite Bills receivers of all time. So is there enough to work with? It's a wait and see. This is very much, as we look throughout all these picks and kind of give a holistic overall view, this is very much, I think, the most of the Beane era in terms of draft classes, the most in Beane we trust, kind of like holding to that moniker. Like this is a very like, we need to trust Beane because he knows what he's doing. He knows that a Terrell Bernard, despite not looking good his first year of preseason and not playing at all and during his rookie year, can be a stud linebacker. That's the Beane we need to trust, that he knows something that we don't, that Keon Coleman can be something that we might not see initially. This is the most in Beane we trust draft class to me.
Draft class. The whole class is that.
Yeah.
Certainly Keon Coleman is, but okay. Yes, I'll buy what you're saying with the class of that as well. I think looking at some of these picks holistically. So let's get to them. That's what I think.
Wait, before we continue on, one last
we're still gonna talk about
important thing of this. What's his nickname? We got to find a nickname.
Oh,
we of course have come up with some great ones in the past. Judge Dreds for Dorian Williams, He-Wolf for Khalil Shakir. What is Keon Coleman's nickname? Does he have one? I was thinking like because of the drink order, High C, because he gets up and gets the ball and his name starts with C. I kind of like High C.
And he drinks High C.
And he drinks High C.
Yeah, that's
where I was leaning.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I was prepared to start the brainstorming process. I heard someone say Neon Keon Coleman.
Said and done.
Low hanging fruit. And then I was thinking, right. I was also thinking like Coleman, like something about like shoveling, like you're putting coal in the engine kind of thing. Like,
okay.
You know, like you're in the bowels of the ship, you're putting coal in it. Something. Was that going to lead us anywhere? But I think High C trumps that in times 10. High C is pretty good.
High C is pretty good. He gets up and gets the ball, goes up and catches it. Also, his last name starts with C. Drinks High C when he goes to Waffle House. I think it's very fitting for Keon Coleman and maybe a T-shirt in the future.
I think it makes sense.
It makes sense to me. Let's move on to our second pick in the second round. Pick 60, safety out of Utah, Cole Bishop. It's a Cole's kind of day.
Yes, a lot of Cole.
On Friday night.
Santa is...
Buffalo Coles instead of Buffalo. Should we just change the city name as I put on Twitter?
Reach.
No, reaching. Too much of a reach. This was a nice pick. The renaissance of the white DB. Shout out Jason Sehorn. Shout out. That's all I know.
Coy Wire.
Coy Wire, yeah. Jim Leonard. We can go Bills. There you
go. Yeah.
There we go. I thought this was good value. I like Cole Bishop's game from what I saw. Hard hitting in the box guy. Very fast. Pretty fast for a white guy, also pretty
fast and strong.
Shout out Offspring. He is pretty fly for a white guy.
Yeah.
Biggest concern I put on Twitter. Looks like he's straight out of High School Musical.
That's what I was saying. Looks a little douchey, but sounds like a nice guy.
Looks a little douchey. Looks like Troy Bolton if he played football.
Yeah.
He's got to get his head in the game. That's all.
Because even I thought he looked like I forgot his name, but like the love interest in Mean Girls.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I was thinking like a John Tucker Must Die, Win a Date with Tammy Hamilton kind of vibe. Yeah.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, same, all in the same family for sure.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Right. Seems like everyone was pretty excited about this pick. Seems like Brandon Beane was excited about this pick.
Yeah.
And it seemed like it seemed like the initial reaction of the pundits who know a lot more about X's and O's than we do were like, this is a very natural, good fit. Sounds good. A safety in the second round feels like that's where you're supposed to take a safety. Drafted by Aaron Williams. A sign from the heavens.
Sign from the heavens.
A sign from the heavens that we have our bishop. The diocese.
I think it's only appropriate now. Cole Bishop goes and seeks out Jarvis Landry and takes him out in honor of Aaron Williams.
Yes, I think you are correct. Jarvis Landry still in the league?
I don't know. Is he? I don't think so.
I don't know. He really faded.
So. Oh yeah, he really did.
So it's like you don't notice that he's gone. It just says on Wikipedia. It just says who is a free agent.
Yeah, I don't think he's in the league. I don't think he was with the team last year.
Yeah, kind of don't think so either.
Phil's in need. We lost obviously Poyer and Hyde off season. Re-signed Taylor Rapp. Signed Mike Edwards from the Chiefs on a 1-year deal only. So this very much seems like a guy who, once Edwards' 1-year deal is up, can step in and fill that starting role. They showed a highlight after he got drafted of just him, like, I don't know what team it was against, but just coming down on a crossing route and laying the thump down on a guy. And I was just like, Okay, we can do that. And obviously Dalton Kincaid, last year's first round pick, advocated for Cole Bishop because I'm sure he received a lot of Cole Bishop hits during practice when they were both at Utah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm okay with this. Like I
I'm
think
more,
this is a very good pick.
Me too. I'm more than okay with it, and especially with what Dalton Kincaid was saying, like that he advocated for him and that he, like Cole Bishop got the best of him many, many times over, and so to know how talented Dalton Kincaid is makes me think Cole Bishop is pretty talented and pretty versatile too. And like you said, to take over from Mike Edwards, I think that everyone has versatility. If Cole Bishop has versatility, maybe Taylor Rapp has a bad year. Mike Edwards has a great year, and we drop Taylor Rapp, and Cole Bishop goes to that spot with a re-sign Mike Edwards. Yeah. There's a lot of flexibility that now can happen here. So I'm good with Cole Bishop.
Yeah. Are you a little worried he can only move diagonally?
I heard that. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So.
Well, it's a chess joke. It's only for the smart people.
Yeah, I guess so.
The bishops in chess can only move diagonally.
I know, I get it. So is that the direction? So is that the direction you take with the nickname, or do you go like more
Cole,
more Catholic? No, is what I was thinking.
No,
do you go more out of the catechism or out of the chessboard?
I was thinking if you want to go religious with it, like when they anoint a new pope, the white smoke comes out.
Oh,
so, he's a white DB.
Right, the white smoke.
Yeah, I think Chris Sims that tweeted out like a great white safety or something.
Yeah. Everyone's
like, okay, Chris Sims.
That got a lot of traction for all. That got a lot of traction, and it should have, because it's okay.
Why can't just be a great safety?
Yeah, it is. It is very much like, okay, Chris Sims, we get you. Chris Sims also like the whitest football personality in America, so it's also like just kind of adds up. Yeah, I was kind of thinking like white smoke. Even aside from the Pope thing, the white smoke is a good nickname for anybody. Like I'm a little jealous that I'm not the white smoke. Like that's just it.
We all should be.
I know. Well, that's
the white smoke. Also, it would just keep us get our minds off of John Brown for once and all here.
Yeah, well, John Brown, that's another nickname.
We need a new smoke
waiting to happen. Right. Oh yeah, Smoke Brown. Yeah. See, I was thinking like John Brown, like Harper's Ferry John Brown. Anyway, never mind. So that's like, I don't know, I guess bishops become popes over time.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? Like every pope was probably a bishop. A lot of ways it can go. Yeah.
The chess thing, you could do. I don't know.
Well, what's the chess thing?
The Cole thing. There's a bishop. It's a.
Well, I know. What's the name?
I don't know.
Like Bobby Fischer?
Just for smart people. Bobby Fischer, yes.
Yeah.
Where is he? I don't know.
We're searching for him. We're searching for Cole Bishop.
But no, I like this pick. I think White Smoke's a good nickname if we're gonna go with one. For Cole Bishop. People will give us like weird looks if we jump up after he makes a tackle and be like, White Smoke.
The white smoke. The white smoke is coming out of the chimney.
Oh my gosh.
The Vatican. No, I'm just trying to brainstorm like Catholic terms now. Do
you think he could start this year? Or do you think this is a learn?
I think he could. No, I think he could start.
Yeah, I do too.
I think with a strong camp, definitely he could start.
Yeah, I do. I do too.
Over Mike Edwards. I don't think you could start over Taylor Rapp.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they're
money-wise, contract-wise,
yeah.
They're invested in Rapp for better or worse. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still not sold on him, but we'll see. I like this pick at 60 here. Ready to move on to pick the third pick in the third round.
Trying to think here. Is there something with like Bishop and Rapp? Like a Rapp?
Like a rapping bishop?
Like as a tandem? Yeah, I guess like a rapping bishop is where I go. Or like a bishop.
Like a bad independent wrestling
like
character.
Eating a rap. Yeah.
Rapping. A bishop eating. Oh yeah, we could do a rap
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Oh man. See, now I'm thinking like
Even
Jesus,
rapping as
like
the music,
sermon.
but rap as in
Whole
like a
bishop
food.
gonna give his sermon or like the Sermon on the Mount. He mounts a.
You're gonna rap the sermon.
Now that'll put him in the seats.
That'll put him in the seats
Whole
for sure.
brother
Other
act
than that,
bishop.
the only thing that puts people in the seats these days is corgi racing. So we need Cole Bishop rapping.
The world needs that.
That it does.
Get
yeah,
Whoopi Goldberg involved.
Sure, why not? Whole sister act live.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Brother act.
Round 3. Let's move on. D tackle from Duke, Dwayne Carter. The Carter.
The Carter.
AKA Lil Wayne. A Millie. Isn't that like Lil Wayne's name? Dwayne? Is it?
Is it?
I don't know. Dwayne
Well,
Carter.
I googled. Oh yeah, Lil Wayne is Dwayne Carter Jr. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is his father, obviously.
Right. Of Wayne Carter,
His
right?
father. Yep.
Yeah.
So already, I love it because of that.
Right.
We
So he's
drafted
Lil Wayne.
We drafted Lil Wayne's father,
Right.
Dwayne Carter. Well, you see with these first 3 picks here, a lot of like leadership. Cole Bishop was a captain.
Right.
Dwayne Carter was a captain for 3 years at Duke. Keon Coleman, obviously a leader at Florida State. Their top receiver. So when we talked about before the draft, Brandon Beane and the Bills with this like new core youth movement, it seems like he had that in mind as well in terms of drafting captains and leaders and guys, good character, good backstories. And in Keon Coleman's case, just the goofiest human being alive. So I don't know. Like Dwayne Carter, I think it's good. I don't. He's a rotational piece to me, and maybe I don't like it in that terms because I still feel like in the 3rd round you can get a viable starter, but you obviously have Ed Oliver attached to a long-term contract. They just re-signed Daquan Jones this year. Dwayne Carter's more of like that Ed Oliver 3 technique, though, to me, and I think that's what I'll play in Bobby Babich and Sean McDermott's, defensive scheme here. So it just feels like a rotational piece at this point. So I don't know if I like investing 3rd round draft capital in that, but in terms of the man himself, the player on the field, I think it's a solid pick.
He seems like a really nice guy. I like his gravelly voice.
Oh yes.
Yeah, really like that. So he seems like a nice guy. He seems very mature beyond his years. Don't agree with what you said about rotational piece, 3rd round pick. I think 3rd round pick is exactly where you pick a rotational piece like that, especially for the amount that we rotate. Like, I think that's what you do. To me, if I look at like Harrison Phillips, a 3rd round pick,
okay, yeah.
I'm like, that's like Harrison Phillips became like exactly what you think a 3rd round pick is gonna become.
That's a good comparison, yeah.
Yeah, and like he was exactly that, like rotational piece, like not, didn't become a superstar, but everyone really liked him and was certainly a contributor and then some. And now we have Dwayne Carter, a 3rd round defensive tackle out of Duke, leader, high character guy. Everyone seems to like him. Put him in the rotation. I mean, it's a lot better than having like, a lot of times our rotation falls apart completely and we have like Ed Oliver and then a bunch of like undrafteds that somehow find their way onto the team. Oh yeah, I forgot Tim Settle was a thing. Yeah, I'll take.
I know you're talking about like the Eli Ankus and
yes, exactly. Well, and yeah, like who? I keep wanting to say Dusty Ziegler, but I know that's wrong. Who's the
Brandon
person?
Bryant.
Who's the person that like you were always like I liked him and you always hated him?
Justin Zimmer.
Justin Zimmer, yeah, that's who I'm. Yeah, Justin Zimmer is thinking of. Right, exactly. I'm like, well, this is certainly going to be better than Justin Zimmer. Just like finding these people around and out there.
I was right on that.
This guy's like a process. I hope we bring him back. So,
oh God,
couldn't you see him like late August? We signed us
2021 call Tony. They want their bad rotational players back. Oh, he caused a fumble.
I could see him coming back.
On Cam Newton to clinch the Patriots game. Oh,
I could see him coming back. I could see it. Few injuries. We're kind of weak in defensive tackle. Not as weak as we would have been. Thank you, Lil Wayne, for having this child.
Thank you. Thank you, Dwayne Carter, for having Little Wayne. It goes both ways.
Right. I guess you're right. Yeah.
Thank you for Little Wayne for making Dwayne Carter a father and being able to get drafted by the Buffalo Bills. No, I think Harrison Phillips is a great comparison because Harrison Phillips is a guy that I was a little ho-hum about coming out of college. As maybe he has potential, maybe he can learn under Kyle Williams and become something, and he did become something. I thought he became a solid rotational piece that occasionally flashed. Now, do I prefer Dwayne Carter over Tim Settle and Jordan Phillips? Absolutely. Like, so you're upgrading. If anything, you're upgrading your rotational pieces, which is good. And we know how Sean McDermott likes to keep the rotation going, especially on that defensive line. So I'm okay. High character guy, good production on the field, 3-year captain. Son is Little Wayne.
No, father is Little Wayne. That's who you think it is? You think his son is Lil Wayne?
Lil Wayne is his son.
You think Dwayne Carter gave birth to Dwayne Carter, not Dwayne Carter gave birth to Dwayne Carter?
I'm confused now.
Try and keep up, man. This is Duke football.
I can't keep up. Duke football. Yeah, that's the other thing. Is like, I'm a little bothered that we're not drafting from like football powerhouses. Where's the Alabamas and the LSUs and Ohio States of the world? Like Utah,
Florida State is
Duke.
I think Florida State is a powerhouse, right?
Back in the day.
I think you just don't like that we just
Charlie Ward was their quarterback.
Yeah, I think you just don't like that we just drafted a British guy.
Oh, we'll talk about the British guy.
I know.
Very shortly. I have some thoughts about the British guy. Moving on to round 4. Once again, if you haven't hit that like, please do. Really appreciate the love. And please leave a comment. Let us know how you feel about these draft picks, where you stand. Give us a good nickname if you have one.
So
we haven't come up with.
So are we going with Lil Wayne or Lil Wayne or Lil Dwayne? I think Lil Dwayne.
I like Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne?
Yeah.
It's Dwayne Lil Wayne Carter.
Littler Dwayne. I like Lil. I think that's a good one.
All right. It's Lil Wayne.
Lil, not little.
Lil Wayne is Dwayne Carter.
Like Phil and Lil from Rugrats. It's not little, it's Lil.
Right, exactly.
Lil Dwayne Carter. That's right. 4th round pick 128. Ray Davis, running back from Kentucky. A little earlier than I thought they'd dip into running back, but when you look at that room, it is very barren. James Cook, obviously a budding superstar in this league, 2-way player in both the pass and the run game. Love James Cook. Love that they brought back Ty Johnson, only guy with the silence of the Lamb's neck tattoo in the league. So we have to have him on our team because that just strikes fear in opponents, gives us a toughness we don't have. I mean, nobody else has a silence of the Lamb's neck tattoo. Nobody has like a bull nose piercing. I don't even know what they call them. I'm not cool enough. You know that, people. And then Darrington Evans, a guy who was on our training camp roster last year, didn't make the team. Bring him back this year on a futures contract. That's it in terms of the running back room at this point. I am always of the sound mind that you can draft a running back anywhere, maybe even a UDFA, an undrafted free agent running back that can kind of come in and perform, especially as like a third guy. Raheem Blackshear comes to mind. Christian Wade maybe comes to mind. Like there's always, we can go down the list of Bills preseason running back darlings, Joik Bell, Dwayne Wright, Xavier Oman. Like you can find these guys. Yeah. Shad Williams. That's right. Shad Williams, who changed numbers like 80 times.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, that guy. But
and who's the other? Who else was in there? It was like Shad Williams, Sammy Morris. What was the other guy's name? No. What was the other guy's name? Sean Bryson.
Sean Bryson. Sean Bryson was actually okay, right? Like
for a time, injuries took him down.
It was like him and Antoine Smith. That was Antoine Smith era, right? Post
Antoine
Smith.
And then Sean Bryson like went past Antoine Smith and was like, okay, we're going by committee with Sammy Morris.
Yes, Sammy Morris came. Man, so many great names dropping here. But hopefully Ray Davis is not added into that pit, if you will. Shout out the pit of forgotten running backs that the Bills have employed. Running back from Kentucky, immediately after this pick was made, what a story this guy has. Growing up in an orphanage, had to like let his brother and sister go and him stay in the orphanage system.
Like there were two spots in the foster home. Yeah. So his siblings took the 2 spots and he stayed as like a homeless kid in the system, you know?
Right. I mean, you talk about character building and you're getting that in more with Ray Davis. Pretty good football player to boot. He once, I think, set the single game record for most rushing yards in a game with like 260 or something against Florida, I believe, this year. And then it was broken like a week later. So there's some production there behind it. Just seems like a hard-nosed dude. A lot of reports about, business decisions when you try to tackle Ray Davis. He's a guy that puts his shoulder down when he gets across that line of scrimmage and really trucks people over. It seems just like a tough runner, really shifty, small bowling ball kind of guy that'll get you that 3rd and 1 when Josh Allen can't, even though we should always go with Josh Allen on a 3rd and 1 QB sneak. Please don't ever eliminate that from the playbook, Joe Brady. But good character, good production. A little earlier, like I said, based on I think we can find running backs anywhere. But I like this pick. I give it like a solid like B-, C+.
That's what you think solid is? What?
Yeah, that's
C+ is solid?
That's the mean. That's the median. Yeah.
It's the meaty part of the curve? Oh my God. Okay, so anyway.
It's the top of the bell curve.
I was like, if we were going to draft someone like that, I thought it was going to be the kid from Notre Dame. And I was like,
Audrey Estime.
Yeah, of course.
I thought it was too. They had him in for visits. They seemed to show some interest in him. He was there.
And he seems like kind of like a Ray Davis that fell into the ooze. Like just like a bigger, more bowling ball guy, just like grown a little bit more in all ways.
Fell into the ooze.
Yeah. And like he just, just like blew up a little more. So then to take Ray Davis kind of surprised me a little bit with Audrey Estime out there. But yeah, like obviously you can't ignore the story and you can't ignore his character. So, and I remember a time when our running back stable this past year was like healthy and we were really kind of leaning into the power of Damian Harris and Latavius Murray. Yeah. We were kind of like leaning into the power of those guys to the point where it's like, well, this is more effective than the boom or bust that Cook is bringing. We'll just go with like the slow systematicness of those vets. And so now that's kind of like a role that I think Ray Davis is going to play because he's the strong bowling ball type. Grab a few yards, then we'll let Keon Coleman do the rest, and really we won't. Really, then it's grab a few yards, toss it over to Dalton Kincaid for like 9, and we're on our way. So
I like that. I like that thought. I kind of like the idea as well. And let me pitch something to you. And see how it sticks here. I like a guy is in the workout room and like who let's pick a name. Balen Spector's in the workout room.
Okay.
And he's lifting, he's doing his off-season training, and he's like, man, this is tough. I can't go anymore. Do you think that Ray Davis is the guy who's like Sean McDermott's like, hey Ray, go talk to him? Ray's like, sidles up to him and is like, you think this is tough? Imagine being in an orphanage.
Yeah. Imagine growing up homeless.
For 18 years.
Right.
And then Balen's like, all right, I'll get another rep in.
Right. I do like that.
I kind of like the guilt factor of Ray Davis here.
Very much so. Very much so. and because Ray Davis is like not leaning into it, but like I think he's good at, like he'll be like a high school motivational speaker after his career.
Oh, absolutely.
Like he has this thing down. Like he knows exactly like what episodes to highlight, what to downplay. He knows exactly like how it goes by this time in his life.
Right. Oh, you don't like the nutrition plan?
You know, like
yeah. For you?
Yeah. I ate out of the garbage, so
I ate gruel.
Right.
5 years straight.
Jeez, what do you think this orphanage was? Gruel.
I don't know. It's a prison Mike thing. That's one of my favorite.
Oh, okay.
Pop culture references.
So is that
prison Mike? Insensitive gruel sandwiches.
So is it insensitive to make that the nickname, like the basis of the nickname?
What's that? Like the orphanage play?
Kind of, yeah, like something in that direction. Like he was a kid in the system. So I was saying, like, is it Ray the System Davis?
I kind of like that, actually.
It's like he was in the system, right? The pipeline,
I like the system could be like a good football player system that plays. I really like that.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. Ray I was thinking when they drafted him, like D. Ray Davis, maybe Dwayne Carter can give the DE of his first name to, and D. Ray Davis was like the OG of the hit MTV show Wildin' Out with Nick Cannon.
Of course.
I'm like, I heard draft D. Ray Davis. I heard
Ray Davis.
That is a great name.
I heard Ray Davis. I immediately thought, like, well, that sounds like, before knowing anything about him, like, well, that sounds like a car dealership owner. This is Ray Davis Ford. Ray Davis Ford.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Right. Ray Davis Chevrolet. Ray Davis Honda.
It does very much.
It sounds like Ray Davis Honda. Too. Right. So there's a lot of directions to go.
Car dealership. I like the system. That is very good.
System's intimidating.
It is. It's really intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. That's definitely sticking. That is definitely sticking. No, good pick. I like it. It rounds out the running back room. It gives the running back room a different dynamic when we talked about that power, and kind of makes up for the pass blocking inefficiencies of James Cook. That Latavius Murray was kind of in that role of an extra pass blocker, picking up blitzes and stuff. I think Ray Davis can fill that role pretty well. So good pick, fills out that room. Let's move on to round 5, though. Going back to the trenches, center from Georgia, Cedric Van Pran Granger. I want to like put some like foreign twang on it.
Right.
Van Pran
Granier.
Granier. Yeah.
Van Pran Granier.
Yes. Drew Bledsoe can make a wine. This is a 1975 Van Pran Granier.
Yes.
Cabernet.
What does that mean? Cedric grapes. Here we
go. Again, as we see, character guys, charisma, captain guy, leadership guys. Cedric VPG. I think that like we gotta abbreviate it here. I think
VPG. Yeah. Down. It seems VPG. Like Granger or Granier is like. Sometimes I see people just call him Van Pran.
Van Pran, yeah. Van Pran.
And they drop the Granier, the Granger. The what?
Like like when you say Van Pran, it's like Vanderpump, like Van Pranderpump.
Van Pran rules.
Yeah.
Van Pran Granger rules. Either way, if you have the Granger or you don't, it's ready for the rules.
Yeah, but
seems like good value though.
It does seem like good value for a 3-year starter at Georgia. Yep. I talked about like those non-football powerhouse schools, Kentucky, Duke, Utah. Like this is a powerhouse. This is Georgia. And he was a 3-year starter at Georgia. I really like this, especially after you lose Mitch Morris. You start to do the shifting of putting in David Edwards, Connor McGovern shifting over to center, David Edwards going into that guard spot. A lot of unknowns, I think, on that front line. This guy can come in and he has a shot to start right away. If David Edwards doesn't work out and SVPG here, we got to think of a good name for this guy. Cedric Van Pran doesn't he can fill in that role. David Edwards doesn't work out. We got to move McGovern back. This guy's showing something in training camp. He very much could see the field earlier than we expect for a 5th round pick. And that's Brandon Beane's sweet spot. We know that. The 5th round is his sweet spot where he finds gems. Matt Milano, Khalil Shakir, the He-Wolf. This could be another gem he's found in the 5th round. I really like this from a value perspective. I think this is a great pick.
Same. If we had drafted this in the 3rd, I'd be like, cool, we got a center like to put in the mix now, and maybe that'll work out. And it's like, and even as of the 3rd, like I was eyeing up this person. Like this is a name that had come up for me a million times in mock drafts and conversations. So then for us to score him at 141, awesome.
Yep, absolutely. I don't really have much to say. I mean, these later draft picks we don't know much about, but it seems like a great pick and good value at that. So we move on to pick 144. The Bills trade this pick to the Bears for a 4th round next year. Good job, Brandon Beane. I mean, you trade a 5th round pick to the Bears for a 4th round pick. The Bears have to be better. They were the first pick in the draft this year and the 9th pick. So not good last year, but rookie QB and Caleb Williams. You think there's obviously maybe a learning curve, a transitional period. They very possibly could not be good again next year. And that 4th round pick maybe looks more like a later 3rd round pick.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
This could be pick 101, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and that's a big jump for giving away. That's a big jump for trading Ryan Bates. Now Ryan Bates was a 5th round pick, now becomes maybe pick 101. So it's like now a 4th Ryan Bates. Or, you know, like you were saying, like we're looking a little weak on the interior. Complete the circle. Trade that 4th round pick right back to the Bears for Ryan Bates.
Ryan Bates.
Bring our baby boy home.
Bring our wing king back.
Exactly.
I like that. Could you imagine if that happened? Like someone gets hurt and like, I would love that. Just complete the circle. Time is a flat circle.
He never plays it down for the Bears.
That would be the funniest thing. Like the Bears tried to get him 2 years ago. We matched their offer to bring him back. We trade him to the Bears. We trade for him right back because of an injury or whatever.
With the same pick.
With the same pick.
We just take their pick and trade their pick back to them for Ryan Bates again.
Oh, that would be amazing. I barring not wanting to see anyone get injured, I really hope this happens.
Mm-hmm.
It would be an amazing complete the circle moment. But good job by Beane filling, getting value in next year's draft as well. And we can use that stockpiling picks in next year to trade for whoever, possibly Ryan Bates. That'd be great. So moving on to round 5 now, continuing round 5. I mean, we had 4 picks in round 5. Nobody needs 4 picks in round 5. This is perfectly fine of a trade to get a 4th rounder next year. Round 5, pick 160, we move to linebacker from Washington. Oh, I'm going to butcher this name forever. Idufunan Ulufushuio. Nope.
No. I think you blew it on the first one. You can call him Eddie.
Eddie?
We've learned that you can call him Eddie. Ulufosio.
Ulufosio. Is that
Eddie
Ulufosio?
I think so.
Eddie Ulufosio. Okay, now it's rolling off the tongue a little now that you phonetically broke it down like that.
Well, there you go.
I said last week in our best names, my best name of the draft was Adelaide, because I would love to hear 60,000 drunk Bills fans trying to say this guy's name. This fits that boat. I love this. I think it's a great pick. A need, especially depth perspective. Yes, we have Matt Milano, whose recovery doesn't seem to be going as well as we hoped based on what Brandon Beane has been saying. But I have no doubt he'll be ready for the start of the season. We have Terrell Bernard, who was fantastic last year. Dorian Williams, who Judge Dredd's put on some muscle in the offseason. Mm-hmm. Pictures of that involuntary camp last week. Dorian Williams. And then we signed Nick Morrow. We have Balen Spector, who saw some time last year. So this just rounds out that running back or linebacker room quite nicely. Eddie Ulufosio. Nope. They get it?
Yeah, I think yes.
Ulofoshio. So I like it. And he seems to be in the Terrell Bernard mold of a smaller see ball, get ball kind of guy. I'm okay with this.
Me too. We certainly
If anything,
needed.
he's a great special teams player.
Yeah, which we needed anyway because we needed Tyler Manikevich replacement. We need a Balin Spector replacement. There's like a lot of, or we need what's his name? He was like an undrafted guy, and he like got in trouble when he was first here for domestic.
Terrell Dodson,
yeah. Like we needed a Terrell Dodson replacement. So yeah, I was definitely looking for us to get a linebacker like in this range. So then to get one from Washington, like Washington was good, So I was like,
the national championship.
Yeah, exactly. So I was looking at this and I'm like, all right, this makes a lot of sense. Like, and I trust our linebacker eye for things. And then, the only downside is that his
Bobby
name
Babbich's
is
eye for things. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, Bobby Babbich's eye for things for sure. So yeah, to see his name, like we'll just get good at it over time, and he'll get good at linebacker over time.
I mean, this guy has prime nickname potential. Like
what?
Show.
What do you got? Oh, of course. Yes, of course.
It seems like the shoe in one, right?
Yeah, it's clear as day. Faux show.
Eddie Faux show.
Eddie Faux show, Ulofoshio.
Yes. I think that's a shoe in.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm okay with this one. I want to move on to the next pick because I think this might be my favorite pick of the draft.
Wow. Okay.
Another 5th round pick 168. Edge from Troy. Javon Solomon led the FBS in sacks. Tony, why is this my favorite pick? Because he led the FBS in sacks? Yes, but that's only part of it. Guess what other 5th round pick we chose that led college football in something years ago?
I think that has to be Mr. Everything, the He-Wolf himself.
No.
Okay, I think that
player led
I think
college
that has
football in tackles.
I think that has to be. Is it Matt Milano?
No.
Was He-Wolf a 4th round pick?
He-Wolf was a 5th round pick.
Was a 5th. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going
no.
further back. A 5th round linebacker, I presume.
Yep.
From
the drought era.
Beane, from the drought.
His name is a chipmunk.
Oh. Now I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
In the comments, that is one Elvin Bowen. One of my favorite draft picks ever. I was like, this guy is it. That is our diamond in the rough. He's going to be a beast. And he wasn't. But I loved him. I love this pick. And I love that Javon Solomon comes in and he doesn't need to produce right away. We have Von Miller, whatever he's going to be this year. We have AJ Epinesa. We have Gregory Rousseau. We have guys like Kingsley Jonathan, our dude who has produced very well in the field. We have a deep. We have Casey Two Hills. Hey, Casey Two Hills. So Javon Solomon doesn't need to come in and be productive right away, but I love the potential. The man has calves as big as my head. And I love that he can learn, despite Von Miller being I don't want to say a shyster, but everything Von Miller says does not come true. So I don't know if I want Javon Solomon to learn from Von Miller the person, but I want Javon Solomon to learn from Von Miller the football player.
See, I knew you were going to like this pick. But not for any of the reasons that you said. I thought you were going to like this pick because you're always talking about like a bendy, twitchy guy is who you want. Yep, and this guy seems like the bendy, twitchy guy, finally.
He is.
Of your dreams, who is bending and twitching all over
of
FBS,
my dreams.
Second tier.
He's bending and twitching in my dreams all day.
And then I also thought you were going to love him on the Catholic perspective because like we had a bishop.
You don't need to think.
Now we got Solomon.
These are all true.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, got Solomon.
Yeah. There's like a theme going on here.
Right?
A bishop and Solomon. Okay. No, King Solomon, right?
Yes, that's right.
Right, King Solomon. So I thought it was like you were gonna get down on it from that perspective. The whole Catholic theme happening this weekend. You got a bendy, twitchy guy. It was meant to be for you. Couldn't be more meant to be if you went to Ohio State.
It couldn't be, honestly. Do we have a history with Troy, guys?
I don't know. Do we? Troy
Leotis went to Troy, right?
Oh, wait, did he? Well, then I like that. Okay.
So yeah, I am very okay with this pick. This is gonna be my guy to watch during training camp.
Okay, worthwhile, I think too.
Yes,
for the kind of athlete that he is.
Super freak athlete.
Mhm.
Love the bendiness. Everything you thought I loved about this pick, I do love. It's true. I love the bendiness. I love the twitching. I love the athletic nature of Javon Solomon's game. The production on the field was there. If you were looking for that small school Max Crosby like guy who can make an impact eventually, like this feels like it's it. I have nothing bad to say. This will be my Elvin Bowen. This will be my Randall Johnson. This will be who was the guy from Florida you love? Voshon Joseph. This will be my Voshon Joseph.
Yeah. I have Voshon Joseph jersey. That's right. I do like him. Yeah.
Because you still believe in him.
Yeah, he'll come back.
He'll come back. Better than ever.
He'll be back. Yeah.
He'll be back. But this is the guy I will be watching during training camp. I love this pick. I love everything about it.
Me too. I had no complaints. Especially like in the 5th round, grab an edge guy. I was hoping we would grab an edge guy, and we haven't had one. So it all makes a lot of sense. Like it seems like he's talented with a lot of upside potential happening for him to be waiting in the wings. So I'm in on Javon Solomon.
I think everyone should be in on Javon Solomon. Moving to the 6th round.
Well, hold on.
204. Oh, wait.
So is
more?
So is Javon Solomon.
You want to talk about Javon Solomon more? Let's do it. We're here all night talking about.
So like when I hear Solomon, like I said, there's King Solomon. Go that way. Yep. I also think the Solomon family, the Solomons were third rock from the sun.
Oh, really?
So is he like,
I never liked
Professor
that show,
Solomon? So. Oh, all right. Well, then maybe we don't take that direction with his nickname.
Was King Solomon a good king, or was he one of the bad ones?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Not up in my history.
I don't know. I wonder if we have
for some reason I was thinking of
expert.
The how do I want to put this?
Solomon Rushdie?
No. The unpopular movie, The Slam and Salmon.
Oh yeah, I know that movie.
Yeah. By the Super Trooper guys.
So that's what you think? It's the Slam and Solomon?
I don't know why it's the Slam and Solomon. Yeah.
It's pretty good.
He's gonna slam into quarterbacks.
Yeah. Slam and Solomon. Yeah. I kind of like that a lot.
That's where my head went.
I like that even outside of Slam and Salmon. I like Slam and Solomon. There's a lot going on there. I'm in on that.
It's enough like childish.
Yeah, it's enough fun
to be fun.
To stick. Yeah.
6th round, pick 204, offensive tackle, UCF, Tylen Grable. Boring. I have nothing to say.
That's what this guy. I was just about to say. I'm like, I have nothing to say about this man.
Moving on.
Yep.
Offensive tackle, 6th round. Boo. Give me another wide receiver here. No, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, you saw something in Wyatt Teller in the late rounds. Maybe you see something in Tylen Grable. That's all I have to say. Boring. Moving on. Round 6, pick 219. Quan Hardy, cornerback from Penn State. My brother immediately texted me. My brother, Penn State alumni himself. His favorite Bills player ever. Already.
Favorite Bills player? Oh, okay.
My brother thinks this is a slam dunk pick.
Wow.
He thinks this is like a 2nd round cornerback.
Okay.
We just got in the 6th round. And maybe he's a little biased because he went to the school.
Right.
But he pays attention to Penn State football. He watches them week in and week out. He absolutely loves this pick. So I have to be excited because of that.
I think so too. And I got excited about, well, I was saying as soon as we hit the 200s, I'm like, we got to pick a cornerback because normally you look at the 200s and it's just like, we're throwing jelly at the wall here, hoping something sticks. But I'm like, but when we draft corners in the late rounds, they end up being like super good. So I'm like, I'm really hoping one of these, a pick coming up becomes a cornerback, because then I'm like, then it's going to be worth it because they're going to be super good. And then we draft this guy, Daquan Hardy, and I'm like, beautiful. Got ourselves a cornerback. And then they dropped his height on me. And I'm like, what? And so then I'm like justifying it. I'm like, okay, so I guess he's going to back up Taron Johnson. And like, we got
spot guy.
Right. We got to find like our diamonds on that side of the cornerback thing too. I was just expecting someone from the outside, but talent is talent. So you don't see me complaining. So then to see his highlight reel, they raved about him on TV. So I have no reason to not be excited based on history, based on what your brother says, based on, what certain quotes people in the know say. I'm very excited for Daquan Hardy.
What's your beef with his height? He's 5'9".
Yeah, usually we take long corners, like in the 6 foot range. I don't have beef with it.
5'9", 6 foot. What's the difference?
Are you kidding? 3 inches is the difference. Simple math.
I'm 5'9".
All right, you don't play for the Bills, nor do I want you to.
Yet. Nor do I want to. That'd be
you're 37 years old, for God's sakes.
I know. Be a Mark Wahlberg invincible situation.
Yeah.
It'd
be more of a Philadelphia highway kicking, sweet kicking, field goal kicking Philadelphia, garbage picking, field goal kicking Philadelphia phenomenon. That's you.
That'd be more closer. That closer resembles my story for sure.
Mm-hmm.
No, he seems more of like a backup to Taron Johnson, but you're right. Beane has found gems in the secondary in later rounds. Taron Johnson, the aforementioned Taron Johnson, Christian Benford, more power. Great value in later rounds for cornerback. Dane Jackson, Alex Austin, 2 interceptions on Josh Allen for the Patriots. 7th round pick. So
Rashad Wildgoose.
Yeah, Rashad Wildgoose, best name in the draft. Best name to wear a Bills jersey. Great pick here. I'm very excited for Daquan Hardy. I think he's a lock to make this team. Like I wouldn't even be shocked.
Yeah, me neither. It makes perfect sense to me.
It makes perfect. Like that room's kind of thin. Like when you get past Douglas and Elam and Benford, like those are your 3. But past that, it's like Jamarcus Ingram, who I actually like.
Mm-hmm.
That's like your 4th guy.
Cam Lewis.
And then Cam Lewis is kind of your Swiss Army knife, can play slot, boundary, safety. So he'll make the team. He's a good special teams player as well. I mean, I think Daquan Hardy, if he shows up in camp, it could be a lock. So good pick, good value in the 6th round. Love it. Pick 219 there. Cornerback from Penn State. Let's talk about the final pick as we wrap up the show here.
I know you
kind
have
of out of left field, to say the least. Pick 221 in round 7 from the illustrious University of the country of England.
University of the country.
I don't even know what position. They say he's an offensive lineman. Travis Clayton, big dude. Let's get that out of the way. 6'7" ish, 310, whatever. Huge dude. Also, because he's in the international program for the NFL, it allows the Bills to have a extra practice squad player.
Mm-hmm.
There's some rules that go with that. So, okay, great. Here's my beef with Travis Clayton. And this is metaphorical beef, because if I have real beef and he listens to this show, as we know, Bills players listen to this show, I don't want him coming and beating me up. So, because he's a big dude. But apparently he's a former rugby player. Mm-hmm. We've been down this road before with Christian Wade. Fun story, fun couple runs during the preseason. Didn't amount to anything. Has never played football, American football, that is. a couple reasons that I am concerned off of that. One, because he hasn't played football, it seems like he did like whatever the international program's version of the combine was like 3 years ago. I think they said he did it in like 2022.
Okay.
So he's been sitting around playing rugby. They don't have any, after this draft pick was made, they didn't have any highlights of him running the 40-yard dash or doing any kind of football related drills. I used the comparison, and this is a very deep poll and probably one people don't know or whatever. There was an NBA player years and years ago I believe from China, and it was Yi Jin Lin or something. That was his name. But there was like no tape of him playing. All they had was like him practicing in a gym and not even having a player defend him. They had a chair. Like he was posting up a chair, a stationary chair, and he was doing moves on that. And he got drafted from that. This is what it kind of reminds me of, because we don't have highlights of him playing football. We don't have highlights after the draft pick was made of him doing drills, like blocking drills or on the tackle dummies or anything. And then, oh, he's a rugby player. Okay, he's an athlete. Fine, I get it. We don't even have video of him playing rugby. It was just screenshots.
Yeah.
It looked like you open up to page 32 in your latest Men's Health magazine and see a ad for a cologne with a rugby player. That's this guy. All I know is he could be a model that is just a big dude. I don't know if he even played rugby at this point. I'm very worried that this guy has tricked us. He's pulled a what was that?
Bamboozled the whole league.
Yeah, he's bamboozled the whole league. What was that show? Inventing Anna. He's inventing Anna. He's inventing Travis. He's posing as something he's not. I don't think he plays football. I don't think he's ever played football. I don't even know if he's even played rugby at this point. You would think if he was a great rugby player, Christian Wade was a great rugby player, and there was highlights galore of Christian Wade playing rugby. And that's what got us hyped. They didn't even have highlights of this guy. They had screenshots. I am flabbergasted. I'm confused. I am perturbed. I don't know what to make of any of this, Tony. Get me off the ledge.
I immediately thought when it happened and they said that he's from the what's like the program called? The International Players something
program.
Players
Anthem program.
That he was like, I was like, oh well, this is gonna be like Christian Wade. This is gonna be like like this makes sense that we would take someone like this, because in the 7th round, like your whole hope is like they're just gonna end up drafting someone who's gonna end up making the team. So it's not a wasted pick. Well, it's not a wasted pick because he can be on the team for free. You know? So right. I was like, well, I don't hate this logic of us doing this. And if he's just a bonus guy on the team, who cares? Who cares if he's going to be a project? Who cares if he's developing as a player? So we're developing him. So he's getting some reps on the practice squad. Fine. I don't care that he's there. He seems like a nice guy. It's along with Ted Lasso references, the whole thing.
Right.
And he's a big boy. He's a big body. So I don't care. But that's the thing, is like, at the same time, maybe you want someone that we're going to draft that's like, I do care. But
that actually
played. Is it a wasted pick in that sense? Maybe kind of.
Did it bother you that like he magically appeared at the draft?
It bothered me that he spoke and we didn't hear it.
Where did they find him? Like this feels very premeditated. They called him in England and said, "Hey, the Bills are going to draft you in the 7th round. Get to Detroit
right
now."
No.
Honestly, this does feel like that. I know it feels very scripted.
Well, they said
he just appeared.
Right. Well, they said that him and a couple other international players were like in the green room. But I do think
How would they know they would get drafted? No other guy got drafted.
Exactly. That's why they were all there.
This feels like
to see who
Goodell
was drafted.
calling Brandon Beane and saying, "Hey, Brandon, we'll slip you an extra $1 million. We need someone from the international program to be drafted. Please, just choose someone."
Is it like an extra $1 million on the cap or extra $1 million like in his pocket?
Under the table, I don't know.
Okay.
It feels very scripted, very sleazy. Like
sleazy.
I don't know. Like it just feels everything about it felt weird to me.
Yeah.
There's no highlights of him.
It was very
there.
surprising. It's very surprising that we're drafting someone and it's like, first of all, someone's announcing it in the 7th round. Second of all,
right?
Who is this guy that is announcing it?
Right.
Third of all, now he's coming out of a tunnel like he's there for, in some wild way. And so like he was just waiting in the green room for days on end for this to happen with a prepared speech.
There's no way.
A prepared speech.
That's what I'm saying.
No one speaks. What's his face? No draft pick speaks. Then he gets up there and he starts speaking. He starts addressing the crowd. Right. And we didn't even get to hear it.
It's all weird.
That part I thought was super weird.
It just seems like, again, like, hey, we have these international guys. We're trying to grow the brand globally.
Right.
We're playing in the UK. We're playing in Brazil, Germany. We need an international guy to be chosen here. And like, it all seems so scripted and so out of the blue.
Mm-hmm. See, my counterpoint to you saying like it all seems so scripted. If it was scripted, then they would have the video and we would have heard him speak and we would have heard the international player guy speak like the NFL employee. We heard none of that though.
This pick is driving me nuts. I never thought I'd speak this long about a 7th round pick. I thought it would just be like a Mr. Irrelevant kind of like, who's this guy? Probably won't make the team, whatever. Mm-hmm. Let's end the show. This one is driving me nuts. This is an international mystery that I need to solve.
Well, I think that
it's a 3-body problem. It's a 3-body problem.
You have all the time in the world to solve it because he won't be seeing the field for a long time because maybe he's never taken a snap, according to you. But 3-body problem was a pretty good show.
That's what I'm saying. We got this guy, Travis Clayton, me, Goodell. That's the 3-body problem, or Beane.
Mm-hmm. So who are the 3 bodies in the show?
It is a good show.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a good show. Yeah. This is all confusing.
I mean, the 3 bodies I know are the suns. But yes, I know.
It's science.
It's science. It's astronomy.
I wouldn't be, to wrap this up, I wouldn't be shocked if we never see this guy again.
Same.
It was all marketing ploy for the globalization of the NFL.
In preseason, he's going to be a darling.
No,
because
I'm 50-50 if he ever gets to preseason right now. I wouldn't be surprised if he Anquan Boldens it in 3 weeks and quits.
Goes right back to rugby.
No, does he go back to rugby? Does he even play rugby? I don't know.
See, I would say preseason is going to be a darling because if he's a guard, like you can show guards and like it's different with Christian Wade. Christian Wade's like breaking off touchdowns, long runs. Like we know that's good.
Yeah.
Guards is just like he's blocking. Like all you have to do is not screw up, and you got yourself a highlight. So like you can easily turn that into making him a preseason darling of, this wanker from the UK is over here and maybe he's decent, and also he's a really nice guy and we like him, and he's big, so that's fun, and fish and chips.
Right. I wouldn't be shocked if he quits in 4 weeks. I wouldn't be shocked if he turns into Jason Peters. I don't even know. I wouldn't be shocked if Travis Clayton was even his real name at this point.
Probably
that a movie with Michael Clayton, George Clooney, where he's like, that wasn't really him. I don't know. Could be Clayton Travis. Who knows?
Face off.
Confused as all hell about this. All right, Tony, what do you say to wrap up the show?
Let's do it.
Well, let's do it. Thank you, of course, to our sponsor, www.travelinggrowler.com. Quality koozies starting at just $5. Shop local, support local. Travelinggrowler.com. Check out the site today. Where you can find the podcast, you can find the podcast on the Built in Buffalo Network, YouTube, Facebook. Make sure if you haven't yet, please hit that like. Hopefully you had some fun tonight as we did. One of our favorite shows of the year, our instant draft reactions here. So hopefully you had some fun. If you did, please hit that like, comment, subscribe, give us a go Bills. Built in Buffalo Network, YouTube, Facebook. You can find us on Twitter at wittysports716, Instagram at wittysports716, Facebook, which has over 650 followers now for some reason. Again, whoever's following us on Facebook, thank you. I don't know why. I don't know how, but you found us and you're following us. So thank you. wittyNOTfunny Sports on Facebook and TikTok. Make sure you check out all the platforms. Give us a follow. We love following back. Love connecting with Bills Mafia, Saber Swords people, trademark pending, of course, for that fan group name. And by the way, go Bandits. Before I wrap up, I went to the playoff game. It was fun. Electric last week. Like, awesome. One of the best sporting experiences I've ever had. It was amazing. And I just can't imagine. Yeah, no, it was amazing. Game went to overtime. The Bandits scored at the last second, but it was called off because the ball didn't cross the goal line. It needed like 0.2 more seconds. It was amazing. In overtime, sudden death in lacrosse. It's great. It's just a great atmosphere. It just makes me long for the Sabres playoff again, because super fun and that arena gets rocking. So, but make sure you go follow us. We love following back. And that's all I have. Thank you for checking us out. If this is your first
congratulations to High C, to the White Smoke, to Lil Wayne, to the System.
System. I think the System's the winner tonight.
To I don't think we have one for VPG, and to Faux Show.
Faux Show. And Travis Clayton, if that's your real name.
Yeah. The Wanker.
The Wanker. Yeah, that's a good name for him, the Wanker. Make sure you follow us if this is your first time or you're a frequent viewer of this show. We always like to say whether you give us 2 minutes or 2 hours of your time, we greatly appreciate it. So thank you so much for dealing with our goofiness all night. I really appreciate it, and hopefully you had some fun as well. And of course, as we always do, send off. Thank you, and of course, go Bills. Stay witty out there, everyone. Thanks for watching. Peace. Bye. Later. Bye. Peace and love. Beatles. Travis Clayton.
Let it be.
Bye.
Marshawn is a fresh of breath air. He just loved chain restaurants. Matter of fact, he ate at Applebee's 12 times during the bye week.
I love each and most of you guys.
That really is still swollen, isn't it? It kind of looks like a football, actually.
Thank you for that.
The stitching, you got it.
Thank you.
Well,
Hey, D, I like donuts, baby. Let's go.
Stay focused. Work hard in school. You might not like school, but make sure you're working hard at school.
Them Bills are bomb. Them Bills are bomb.
It's your boy DM3, and you're listening to the Witty Not Funny Sports Podcast on the Built in Buffalo Podcast Network.